the Anycubic Photon Mono M5S. Let's give it a review. Biff, pow, zap, clunk, clunk, ouchie. Hey guys, there's a lot to talk about with this new 12K printer, so let's blast through the fundamentals and crack on. It's a very attractive 3D resin printer. The menu screen is large and clear, and the user interface is easy to use. It has built-in Wi-Fi, so you can access Anycubic Cloud for file transfer, etc. Or you can use the USB port, which is located on the right-hand side. The power point and switch are located at the rear. The dual linear rails are very robust and look like something off Star Trek. And the Z-arm sports a knob bigger than anything I've seen since my last shower. The platform is large, sporting Anycubic's laser-etched sure grip pattern. But there are no adjustment screws. None at all. The resin tray is metal and large, with a semi-opaque FEP and clear max level indicators. There's also these very convenient holes at the sides for improved handling. And it locks in place with those easy to lose removable bolts. Below it is what we came here for, a 12K 10.1 inch monochrome screen, the first desktop 12K printer that I'm aware of. This gives us an incredible 19 microns of XY resolution, beating the former champion Frozen Sonic Mini 8K and 8KS with their 22 microns. But hang on, actually it doesn't. In fact, it has 24 microns of X resolution and 19 of Y. Or maybe it's the other way around, but the point is, where we normally see square pixels, here we're seeing rectangular ones. Now I haven't personally come across this before, and frankly Anycubic is staying pretty tight-lipped about the reasoning behind it. But frankly, I'm not 100% sure it's fair to call this a 19 micron unit. The M5S is a mid-range printer, capable of producing prints 200mm tall, and beating Anycubic's own M3 Premium and other market equals that have 29 microns of XY resolution. So we should see a leap forward in print quality, right? Well, we'll come back to that. The M5S boasts a number of very exciting features that many people won't have seen before. For instance, it detects resin levels. As you can see in this example, it successfully detects that there is no resin in the vat and stops the print. Not only this, it can calculate and detect if there's insufficient resin in the tray to complete a print cycle, though I haven't actually tested that feature yet. It achieves these impressive accomplishments through the adjustment-free build plate. This is clever enough to feel the weight and suction it expects to detect during a typical print, and it does this through force detection.
Learn about the force.
Now, force detection is a very exciting concept. I'm lucky enough to be working with a prototype by ATHENA, and that has the potential to change things dramatically. Right now it's still a Kickstarter, and I'm helping iron out a few kinks, as I'm a pickier than average user. But force detection has the potential to self-level the plate, detect resin levels, make intelligent decisions about resin settings, wait times, failure detections, calculate lift heights, and faster speeds with ordinary resins. And you'll understand why I say ordinary resins in a moment. And if you didn't quite pick up on that, let me say it more clearly. Force detection has the potential to work out the ideal resin settings all by itself. I'm very excited by it, and I'll be reviewing the ATHENA very soon, as frankly, it's a real game changer. Whilst Anycubic are dipping their toe in the pool of force detection, ATHENA are swimming in the deep end. But of course, this is an M5S review, and the use of force detection also means that the M5S levels the build plate automatically. Just put resin in the tray and start printing, and it will do the rest for you all by itself. This system also apparently detects print and plate separation. If that's true, I haven't seen it, and I've had a few misprints that I'll cover shortly. Anycubic have made a big splash saying that this unit prints 3 times faster. I printed this test print in just 26 minutes, which is very impressive. I had a go at printing mini VogMan, and he typically takes 3 to 4 hours, but the M5S did it in just 45 minutes. Now this is very exciting, but it's not quite that transparent. For starters, you need to use Anycubic's high-speed resin, which is the least viscous resin I've personally seen. Next, you have to be using the Anycubic FEP, or so they say. Additionally, and most critically, you need to double the standard layer height to 0.1, so you can expect a loss of details. And lastly, Anycubic claim that you must use Anycubic's Photon Workshop. Whether or not you can use other slicers for fast printing, time will tell, but the guys at Lychee tell me that they're confident that they can handle it. In the meantime, Workshop does come with these settings already in place, and they certainly do work. With these prerequisites, I think their claim of achieving 105mm per hour is certainly believable. When it's turned on, the M5S runs through a number of checks, all of which are pretty pointless in my opinion. Of course these things work. If they don't, we'll soon find out. To me, this is just a pointless decoration to make us think something clever is going on, but maybe I'm just being cynical. The M5S also apparently monitors the printing process, and I quote,
"Real-time intelligence monitoring throughout the printing process provides dynamic reminders for common bottoming out printing failures, greatly reducing the waste of resin and time. It also smartly analyses failure reason and provides effective suggestions to ensure printing efficiency and protection for every creative idea."
If any of that is true, I can't say. There's certainly no evidence of anything special happening when I use it. Anycubic have further revamped the Photon Workshop. One feature, for instance, is model repair. Pretty much every time I open a file, Workshop tells me that it needs repairing, even though other softwares don't seem to think so. If you read the user manual that comes with this printer, it makes all kinds of claims about an intelligent mode that analyses a model's shape to determine exposure times. However, I don't seem to be intelligent enough to find this intelligent mode. Or maybe it's not in my current version of Workshop. So now, as it's a printer, let's have a look how it prints. I've already demonstrated that fast print with high-speed resin does work, even though with an increased layer height we can expect a loss of quality. I've also had requests to test the behaviour of the resin. So, this is uncured and it's fairly flexible, I suppose. This is well cured and that's fairly brittle. For a more standard resin, I opted for Anycubic Craftsman Grey DLP. I came up with these settings after my usual dial-in process, but I need to say when I checked my guesstimations with the cones of calibration print, it failed 2 out of 3 times, even though the settings were actually good. In the same way, the Merrilabs Town test print failed until I put it on a large raft. Now these failures, none of which were actually detected by the printer, each had a very small footprint on this large plate. That shouldn't matter, and normally it doesn't, but I can't help but wonder if this self-leveling system has something to do with it. As for the print itself, it's, well, okay. Not the best I've seen, but better than average I suppose. I still have this 45mm Mini by ARCHVILLAIN Games left over from my Frozen Mini 8KS review, so that seemed a good choice. That's okay. certainly there's evidence of armour texture there. For something larger, I again turned to ARCHVILLAIN games. Once more, an impressive print. Now this 12K resin printer was certainly printing well, but personally I wasn't wowed. When we first moved from 4K to 8K, the frozen Mini 8K really wowed me with this print by Wicked 3D. So I decided to print it on the M5S. This has no anti-aliasing, this has full anti-aliasing. There's no two ways about it, it's a good printer, and these are fairly closely matched prints, but I'd still give the edge to the Mini 8K. But there I was using Frozen's Aqua 4K resin, and I don't have any of that to test, so maybe resin is the answer. Either way, I'm not seeing a massive leap forward from 8K to 12. Frankly, it's a bit of a letdown. So what are my thoughts on the Anycubic Photon Mono M5S? Well, I am impressed. The self-leveling plate is something many will welcome, and it certainly does appear to work very well, though I do question if this large plate can handle very small prints comfortably. The intelligence behind force detection is impressive, and certainly the lack of resin was easy enough for the printer to detect. It's very well made with quality construction, though it does lack the air filtration we've seen on the M3 Premium. But it's new and it's highly innovative, and that's what we're buying here. Anycubic have bravely stepped forward with features that you just know other brands are quickly going to copy. And of course, it does print well. It doesn't represent a massive leap forward as I hoped 12K would, and I feel in real terms this rectangular pixeled printer performs more like 24 microns than 19, though I've only used 2 types of resin and made a limited number of prints with it. I don't think it's a match for Frozen's Mini 8K or 8KS, or even my personal favourite, the Anycubic D2, though it is close. But those of course are small printers, and I feel this mid-ranger is a smidgen better than the M3 Premium or other similar 29 micron printers. And of course it's fast, very fast under the right circumstances, and I can see folks taking full advantage of that speed. So in short guys, this 12K printer is not quite what I was expecting, but it still marks a turning point, and I congratulate Anycubic on leading the way. So that's it for this review guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care and thanks for watching.